Partnerships for Listening and Action by Communities and Educators, abbreviated as PLACE, is a 3-year multi-campus collaborative initiative of bringing theory to practice, funded by the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. PLACE brings together a network of academic community partnerships involving 11 colleges and universities in 4 cities across the United States. Each local project applies humanities methods to develop action plans grounded in community voice. In Baltimore, PLACE is organized by the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, or UMBC, and focuses on the experiences and aspirations of residents in Baltimore's Brooklyn and Curtis Bay neighborhoods. The project launched in October 2019 with a series of community dialogues UMBC convened with community partners.
The COVID-19 pandemic began disrupting everyday life in the United States early in 2020, and work related to the PLACE project moved entirely online until June 2021, requiring the project team to alter its initial plans.
The project team developed a partnership with Ben Franklin High School, the main public high school in the Brooklyn and Curtis Bay area, and narrowed its focus to issues affecting Ben Franklin students.
Working with Ethan Gonzalez, a physics and research methods teacher at the high school, the PLACE team introduced students at the high school to tools and methods that could empower them as capable contributors and co-creators of their communities. These tools and methods included community organizing, photo voice, digital storytelling, and community art.
In a series of in-class sessions, interviews, and group conversations, mental health emerged as an important issue for students at Ben. But what does that mean, and what would it look like to better support students' mental health? In this video, teachers, students, administrators, and community residents will share their insights about both mental health challenges at Ben and the neighborhood in which it is located, as well as potential ways to move forward.
I think when a lot of people who aren't from Baltimore think about Baltimore, there's a very predetermined narrative that fits in their minds, one of violence and one of crime and drug abuse and whatnot. This is a poor neighborhood in a city that's a victim of a lot of systemic racism, and it's been that way for a long, long time. And so there are many challenges that our students face. Because of that, the students have a lot of responsibilities.
More easy to deal with. Let's worry about the kids getting killed. They can't even go out front to play ball, or can't even be kids no more. They got to be stuck on phones and tablets because they can't go out front to play because they're getting shot and killed for no reason.
So I think that one thing that we have to do is make it better for our kids, because like Tony said, I don't let my daughter play outside. Unless I'm there, she's not outside. It's not like where I grew up where you could literally run around and play and not have to worry about anything. It's nothing for guns to go off at all. You hear it all the time.
Raised up all our kids in these dilapidated buildings, and okay, the teachers tried, and okay, we got some funding, but at the end of the day, turn around and ask the kid how they really feel about being raised in this neighborhood.
We used to take them someplace else.
Yeah, turn around and ask the kid, what do you think your future is going to be?
One time, she honestly looked at moving to New Jersey because there was a bamboo area, and she goes, what you hear from all your neighbors, and the reason that we all, a lot of us walk with our head down, she goes, we don't want to see anything. If you see something, that's the same thing. It's almost like committing a crime against somebody.
I wish a lot was different about this world, specifically racism and fighting.
I wish the world is less cruel.
Don't get me wrong. One of my friends, she used to stay for marching band, which was after school, she used to be one of on the dance team here. So after school, we would have to stay after the other students, and I would wait with her because none of us necessarily felt safe walking to the bus stop by ourselves and going home by ourselves. So is we had a group of friends. Angel, she stayed in the school for dance class. One of my friends, Caitlin, she lived up the street. Me and Stephanie walked her home and came back down here. Stephanie got in a car with her grandma and went home, and me and Angel, I waited for her to get done, and we went home.
Whenever I feel like something it's not right, is because I get a bad feeling. But most of the time, no, not really.
The people are amazing. They're so kind. The families are extremely invested in the success of the students here. The kids are fantastic. They're just like kids anywhere else. They want to do a great job. They want to be successful. They want to learn. And so really, it's no different than anywhere else in terms of what the students are like. Now, of course, this is a poor neighborhood in a city that's a victim of a lot of systemic racism. And it's been that way for a long, long time. And so there are many challenges that our students face. Because of that, the students have a lot of responsibilities. I think that we have a really unique and supportive school community. I think that our students face a lot of unique challenges, both in the national context and also in the context of Baltimore City. So we serve students mainly from the Brooklyn and Curtis Bay neighborhoods. That's where the school is located. Although we do have students who come in from all over the city to our school. What makes Ben unique is that we don't have a dominant student demographic. So we have African American students, we have Hispanic students, and we have white students, pretty evenly dispersed, all under the same roof.
I loved being a student at Benjamin Franklin. The culture is very lovely, and it's very diverse, but also at times it could be overwhelming with the different amount of activities you have to do throughout the day, and being a teenager is pretty overwhelming also. So
you could say that it's fun as well, because being a student here means that you get to make friends and enjoy life here in high school before taking bigger steps.
Students have a lot of responsibilities. A lot of our students work 30, 40, 50 hours a week. At times our students are actually primary earners for their families. A lot of our students have to look over younger siblings. This was a really big challenge during virtual learning. If you're a high school junior and you're in my physics class, you likely have 1, 2, 5, or 6 younger siblings. And they could be as young as babies all the way through middle school. And it could be your responsibility despite being in class.
What I want less in my life is not having to deal with certain things at a young age, because it can give me stress or make me want to just give up. I wish the world didn't have gun violence, and I wish racism didn't happen, because people should feel safe. It shouldn't feel like they don't belong here, because we should treat them how they would treat us.
But about a third of our student population are recent immigrants to our country, mostly from Central America, and they have a very unique and challenging experience coming into the country and fitting into not only our school but into the city and into the systems that exist in Baltimore. Both as a language barrier.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I have a few friends that I took ESOL with told me that they had some encounters like that where they were being judged because they didn't know any English. They were probably bullied from what the way I heard it from them. It's they were let's see, because they were Hispanic, so it would be you're Hispanic, go being racial and stuff. One of them, they told me that they just stopped coming to school after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm guessing they didn't take it right. They just didn't like it being judged like that.
mental health is the health of a person mentally, whether that's happiness, sadness. It's emotional health to me.
I mean, there's a lot of trends happening right now. Number one is social media, of course, and we're seeing that pose a a series of mental health challenges to young people all over. That's absolutely true here. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a really large mental health challenge to everybody. But I think you take those two things that are affecting a lot of young people all over, and you add on the pressure of these extra responsibilities that I mentioned earlier. So if students have to work a lot, or if they have to care for family members, if they're the primary earner for their families, all of these stressors start to add up. Yeah, so I think we've seen a lot of mental health challenges, especially coming out of the pandemic. I think being, cooped up in the house for 18 months is not great for anybody, but especially not for students who really thrive in the social connection, really thrive in being able to see their friends, see teachers, see all of the staff members at Ben as part of their normal experience. This shows up in a whole bunch of ways in class. Some things we've been seeing are students being much quicker to shut down or much quicker to lash out when they're getting frustrated. Learning is a hard process. It doesn't come easy to anybody. And so it's important to be able to stay calm and focused during that process. Our students have pretty inconsistent attendance at times. Not all of them, but there's a good chunk that are not coming to school every day each week. It's easy for them to fall behind in their classes, and that just adds another challenge that they face. So I think our students are really stressed out. I think they've also been victim to I think our students have experienced a lot of trauma in their lives as well. That's a generalization, but true for a lot of people. And that plays out in challenging ways for them in the classroom. So I think they don't always have the best coping skills, but who would when you've been facing so many things?
Yes, only one person so far that I've seen. It's my closest friend, I could say.
Tell that story.
When he transferred here, it was because back at the other school, I think he was in PA, Pennsylvania, I think it was. I don't remember where it was exactly, but he was there. He was going to school. He was doing all right until one day they told him that his father passed away, and that I'm guessing he didn't took it well. And afterwards, he felt suicidal. That's one thing. They're probably. Some students most likely don't get along with their parents, so they'll have to talk to anyone in the school as well, or not just an adult that they can get in contact with.
Being a teenager is a lot, and one thing that's not talked about enough is a teenager is mental health. So kids don't feel like if they talk about mental health, they'll be judged, so they try to not show when they're hurt or sad or mad and things like that. And then when it blows up, it's a bigger deal. Them not feeling comfortable talking to the administrator, or them feeling like they'll be judged by showing that they need help.
What does that judgment look like?
Judged by other students of saying, oh yeah, you don't need help, you'll be fine, and things like that.
They transferred out because, I don't know if I should get in details with the issues or something, but they had an issue with a teacher, and they got out of school because of that reason.
Depending upon how my day was at home before I came, it was whether I was happy or sad walking in the door. And if I was sad, I didn't want to be talked to for most of the day, really didn't interact.
This is an interesting year because students aren't the only ones who are struggling with their mental health. Nationwide, we're seeing a lot of teachers leave the profession right now because of the challenges that are facing our school communities as a result of the pandemic.
Ethan Gonzalez asked students in his class to create photo voice projects to illuminate their experiences relating to mental health at Ben. The students responded to prompts asking about when they felt they mattered and belonged at Ben. Students felt that they mattered and belonged when peers, faculty, and staff have acknowledged their existence and listened.
I feel important in this class because my teacher always tells me that when I'm there, the class is better. Therefore, I always participate in his class. Also, my teacher played a song for me that says my name.
People have helped me feel like I matter and belong in this space by including, listening to me, and supporting me. That is why these are places I prefer to be in, and I know that I can trust my peers.
Believed in and affirmed them.
Miss Rios has helped me feel like I matter and belong in this space by being able to see who I am and what I'm capable of doing. Miss Rios has known me since freshman year and has seen my growth since then. I'll feel happy when I'm able to tell her all of my successes.
Were patient with them.
People who make me feel like I belong and matter would be the girls in this class, because even if I do not understand something, they help me to understand, and we all just get along better.
Provided guidance and support that allowed students to make their own choices.
Benjamin helped me because I feel like I get treated as I should be. Like an adult, my decisions are on me, and staff does their best to help with guidance.
And when they have the time and space to interact as they choose.
I feel like I matter and belong here because I get to hang out with my friends. It is a break from teachers and I get to have fun.
What I try my best to do is to create a welcoming, safe, inclusive, and supportive environment where any student, regardless of their identity or experience, can feel safe and can feel like they can thrive.
Now they get the support from friends and teachers that they feel comfortable and other administrators that they feel comfortable talking to. Because I trusted that administrator that led the group. A lot of students don't feel like they could find the trust or that the administrator would understand what they're going through or that the administrator would just brush them off. I've known that administrator since 9th grade, and one day I was crying. I forgot what happened, but I was crying and she helped me through it and calmed me down.
I would try to reach out to a teacher, see like what advice they'll give me. I felt like better afterwards because it feels like you let go of that the end, like your frustration, I guess. Like just comes out. I don't even know if it would be a friend that supported me, but I would say a teacher probably did. A teacher that's trying to support me, try to get my grades up. Like they were telling me if I was doing something like I shouldn't be doing in class, they will try to get me to do my work because I have a class that I was failing and I wasn't good at it. The school that he came from, yeah, he got some support. But when he came here as well, he talked to some teachers, he said, and yeah, they helped him out. So they understand if he misses a few days, that it's because it's most of those reasons why.
You know, I guess really any time that you can get students to feel more natural, feel more like themselves. The best memories are where students are able to be themselves. So one project we do every year is called the Egg Drop Challenge. A common project, nothing groundbreaking. Basically you have a handful of supplies and you have to construct a device to protect the egg when we drop it off the roof of the school. And this is a great project because it really brings the competitive nature out of the students. They all want to do really well. All of a sudden students who might sit back and take a very passive role in class will have 100 ideas, which is fantastic. And when the time actually comes for the competition, it's great. Students are very invested, very curious to see how not only their project does, but everybody else's. Everybody wants to win. Another thing that comes to mind is any sporting events or any athletic events. It's so nice to see students be able to move around freely, be able to compete, work together in teams, and just see them, really, really be themselves. In the context of Baltimore City, we really go above and beyond for our students here, or at least we're trying really hard to. We have the Ben Center here in partnership with United Way, which has a ton of services for Ben students. We have support with family employment, support with ensuring food security. We have social workers whose students have the chance to work one-on-one with, school psychiatrists. And I think one thing that's really neat about Ben is that all of these things are not stigmatized the way they might be at other schools, but rather seen as a very natural part of our school fabric.
Students are balancing so much: parenting, full-time jobs, academics, mentoring.
In Baltimore City, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you have a social worker in each school, but we have a permanent social worker in our building who works specifically with the general population.
If a teacher notices that a child's behavior has shifted or is just a little concerned about something that's not academic, we have a referral system just within our school building where we can refer students to the Ben Center.
One of the biggest stressors for teachers in the city network is you feel like you are expected to do 20 different jobs, but we're not qualified to do 20 different jobs. So having that built in the community model at Ben has been really awesome.
So a lot of our students have children of their own, and they're able to actually bring their babies to school where they can receive their own enrichment and learning opportunities, and the parents can come and participate in classes every day. And I think that that is a huge resource for mental health, to know that your child is well supported and taken care of.
Memories that stand out at Ben: hanging out with my friends in the Ben Center, in the library. We had a group that we would go to every Wednesday, I believe. But when the group wasn't going on, we would also go in there. But the group was where we talked about different emotional, like happiness was one week, then anger, depression, and so on and so forth. We had that every Wednesday, and every other day we would go in there and basically debrief on the group ourselves. It's just the students without the administrator being there.
The library that is in the school, I'll be hanging out with my friends here, doing my work sometimes. Like if I need to finish anything, I'll just go do it there. It's like my, how do I say it? It's like a place that I could actually think and not be bothered in there.
One thing that's always fun to do is to survey students on their interests and what they feel like their strengths are. And you'd actually be surprised at the number of students who say that they love to help their friends out, love to help their peers out. And so I think an important thing to recognize is that students actually want the opportunity to be autonomous and to lead and to help. So it's important to provide those opportunities. And so we have a lot of these students who are now quite fluent in English, who can empathize with the experience of our newcomers. And they've pioneered some programs to come out and help translate for their peers, help show them around where their classes are, introducing them to their teachers, kind of giving them the rundown of what the school experience is like. And that whole thing has been entirely student initiated. So it's great to see students take that ownership of the support of their peers, and I think that there's hunger for more. Well, I think it really is an impossible task for any one individual in the school to tackle. So, in classes, there's only one me, and there's 25 unique souls who each have their own hopes and dreams and their own unique stories and challenges. Even if none of us can do it perfectly, day in and day out, our students, at least in their experience through each school day, each school month and year, has a consistent thread of adults who are there to support them. While we're able to have really great support structures here, I think that we're not supporting our students with them as consistently as might be helpful, or as universally as might be helpful. So getting more trained adults in the building, I think, would be fantastic. But I think we could do a better job of including students in the design of the school day, in design of learning experiences. And I think the challenge of those of us who are in leadership positions or positions of authority is to empower those stakeholders and to unlock the potential within them, because they can do it. And so we just have to make sure that we're helping them be in that spot to do it and not doing it for them. Nobody knows the student experience better than students themselves, and nobody understands the challenges and the opportunities that our students face better than our students. And so I think the more that we can empower our students and support them to take accountability of their own experience in the school, but also being able to support their peers and their classmates, I think that would pay dividends for those students' mental health and really the whole school community.
I would say students feel better talking to another student about it because they feel as though this other student would understand more what they're going through. So peer-to-peer training and things like that with mental health, or a room where students could go into and talk about mental health.
Probably everybody getting along with each other. Like, let's see, they get along. They actually make more friends that they could actually make people not be alone, or like how to say it, like just by themselves, so they could talk to people, not just be like sitting there just doing nothing.
The ideal picture of Benjamin Franklin High School with mental health addressed would be a mental health club, of course, where students and teachers could go to talk to the students that need help, and students have a safe space to go to. That would be the ideal picture of Benjamin Franklin.